Okay, welcome to WHAP, Chapter 12, Lecture 1. This first part of the lecture for this chapter is going to be focused primarily on the long-distance trading, the Silk Roads that's going on here in the classical eras. During this time period, long-distance trade was a very risky venture. It did pay off in huge dividends, however. Better roads and bridges, which initially helped militaries move around and be more effective in administering an empire. Also, the kind of the side effect was it really helped facilitate trade, made it easier. Long-distance trade was also helped in that during the classical era, you had huge empires. The Persian Empire was huge. Alexander's empire was huge. You had large Chinese empires, and these empires tended to butt up against each other, which meant that, when the Persians had things under control, they had a huge area that was easy to trade in because they kept bandits off the road. And they were butted up next to Chinese empires that had the same thing going on. So trade between these were much easier. Alexander the Great definitely picked up the pace of long-distance trade, especially in the fact they built so many colonies, and you had all these Greeks moving in and bringing banking and business into the Persian and Indian worlds. Definitely saw a spread of Greek culture into that, and a big-time trade going on. The Ptolemies, after Alexander's empire fell, the Ptolemies taken over Egypt. They focused on sea lanes, of course, and they linked the Red Sea with the Arabian Sea, which hooked into the Indian Ocean and had a very powerful and wealthy sea lane trade going on. These people, the Ptolemies, also learned about monsoon winds coming out of India, and so when they learned the patterns of these winds, then they knew when they could most safely travel, and trade really picked up as a result of that as well. Long-distance trade stimulated economies. It brought a lot of wealth into local economies. They made a lot of money off of just taxing foreign products. When a foreign good came in, they slapped a tax on it, and they made money off of that. People bought the goods anyway, and so you made money. If you were a country, you were making money for someone from another country bringing their goods into your country. You also see Eastern Africa getting into this trade because they do poke out into the Indian Ocean. Coins were introduced into areas of Eastern Africa that had not seen coinage used before. Now, of course, as far as these long-distance roads go, without a doubt, they're known for being the Silk Roads. The Silk Road is not one specific road, it's a multitude of roads. Collectively, they're known as the Silk Roads because silk was a high-priced, valuable commodity, one of the most valuable commodities that was traded on this road. There were many other things, precious stones, many spices from India, many things that were traded along the Silk Roads, however. The Silk Road stretched basically from China to Rome. Remember, the Roman Empire is huge, so this is a very large expanse of area for trade to be working. The Silk Roads, silk was also traded on the sea. There were definitely sea lanes that went into the Silk Road trade. And in the ancient world, only China was producing this silk. They knew how to cultivate the silkworm. It was pretty much a state secret, so they were getting filthy rich off of it. India was huge with spices. These are the exotic goods from the Orient, as it was known, from the India and China, that people back in the Middle East and Eastern Europe just could not get enough of. And kind of the last thing for this section, remember that long-distance trade, while it covered a huge area, was really handled in stages. Chinese merchants would take silk, but they would be stopped at the borders of the Parthian empires there in Persia, and the Parthians say, no, we take it from here. You trade with us. So the Parthians would take those goods, and they would continue west. They would sell it. They would continue west until they got to another empire's borders, and they would say, no, we handle the trade in here. So they would buy it from them. And each step along the way, the price is going to raise on the goods, and you'll see hundreds of years later, we'll fight the Crusades, basically, not just for religious purposes, but to help cheapen the price of these goods. Okay, that's your first section.